And welcome to another episode of From the Rubble, where last time around we finished walling off the island, even though we haven't quite finished filling in the island. But that is a major milestone in this adventure. Doesn't mean we're absolutely safe, but it does mean that we are safer by a couple orders of magnitude than we were. And in the last episode, we also saw me get my butt handed to me by a random pillager that apparently was had super soldier serum or something, because he could poison me. He had a bunch of hit points, and he bounced me around like a rubber ball. So we barely survived that after hiding down here in the base and refilling all my hit points with a stack of baked potatoes. It was a humbling experience. And the funny thing is when I was editing the last video, and going through that experience over and over again, you can see it in the video. I said, it's a pillager. It's no big deal. I mean, I have no armor, but I'll take care of him. I'll just hide behind a tree till he gets close enough so he doesn't shoot a bunch of bolts at me. And then he got onto the land, and I jump out from behind the tree and I tap him with my stone sword. The world goes black. I get poisoned. Badness ensues. It was a humbling experience, and I think that just highlights exactly what this particular world is all about. So, with that said, I wanted to do something different today. I wanted to do something different today. What I wanted to do was make a gyrodyne, a flying little copter, but it's going to require 11 iron, and I apparently don't have 11 iron. However, I do remember I have some iron down here. Hopefully I have enough to get going. It's 6. I can count. 10. I have one upstairs, so 2 upstairs. So we're good. We'll be able to make the... Oh, and there's even more down here. So... Okay, so the original plan's back on. The reason we want to make the gyrodyne, the reason I want to make the gyrodyne, is twofold. One, moving by foot through this territory is incredibly dangerous. It can be done, and sometimes I might do it because moving by foot is the only way you're going to see some stuff or find some stuff. So we won't always be flying around, but today's ultimate mission is to hopefully find cabbage. And wait and see. But there we go. So with the cabbage and carrots, that's the only other 2 pieces I'm missing. I'd be able to make some decent sandwiches. And with that, I could use the gyrodyne more consistently for longer periods of time, because that thing runs on pedal power. And just like the hand crank from Create, it uses a lot of your hunger, your saturation. I mean, you go through it like water. So what we want to do is get a source of food better than baked potatoes that will help keep us in the air longer. Because if there's one thing I don't want to do, I don't want to be using the gyrodyne and be flying over enemy territory, deep in the enemy territory, and then run out of energy. You don't want to go down in a hostile territory. So that's where we're headed with that. Also, we haven't really explored too much outside of my little lake shore environment. So it'll be good to kind of confirm what we've been seeing. Now, just on a technical note, right? Most of what I've seen is from distant horizons. And generally they do a pretty good job of showing you what's out there. But, you know, it is a level of detail mod. So the further out you look, the less exact, the less precise that you see, right? So, so when I see palm trees in the distance, there's no doubt in my mind there are palm trees in the distance. But, you know, if you see a particular palm tree, yeah, maybe it's there, maybe it's not. Now, I already have enough wool to make the gyrodyne, but we haven't harvested any of our flax for a while, so let's do that. And tomatoes. The flax is useful besides the wool. I mean, and that should be useful enough, and it is. But it also generates a lot of seeds, and those are good fodder for the composter. We need a lot of compost. That's in this world especially, because you know, like I've shown in my other series, right? We use a lot of the compost to make the rich soil, and that's true here. But this world, we are going to build with a lot of light gray concrete, and light gray concrete requires light gray dye. I find it strange because, in my experience, concrete is generally light gray to white on its own. And if you want it to be another color, you certainly need to dye it. But in Minecraft, you gotta dye your concrete no matter what color you want. So, okay, that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to dye our light gray concrete light gray. But that is exciting to me because it's time to build. Now we've been digging out our core shaft and using the material. I already have plenty of seeds, so that, like I said, just compost those bad boys. We've been digging out our core shaft to grab filler for the island. And that the filler part is almost done, but we still need to dig out the main core. But we have the same problem that we have with the other series, is as we dig out, we generate a lot of material. Right now I'm generating a lot of string. And got to put that material someplace. And this storage system I have, I do have some room to take in some more, but this is not a long-term solution, not by any stretch of the imagination. So, not this episode probably, but soon we will need to go and look at my plans, the plans that I've built in Excel, which I need to remember to share those out somehow. But looking at those plans, we'll see the structure of the base, because I actually have one now. And we'll go ahead and start working on the bottom of the core shaft, where the metro and the storage areas will be. And then we can set up proper storage. And And then, you know, once I get proper storage set up in this thing, that's pretty much the final piece to preventing all the long-term big ticket plans. So I'm pretty excited about that. And that's all the pieces for my Gyrodyne. And that is my Gyrodyne. Okay. I was gonna say, like, I feel like an adult now, but I'm playing Minecraft, so I feel like a proper adventurer. I feel like, you know, we're out of. Well, I was gonna say I feel like I'm out of the snail out of its shell stage, but since I'm just wearing a chainmail helmet, nothing else, I am still very much a snail out of my shell. But that's okay. That's okay. Let's let her rip. And we're off. Okay, now if I remember correctly, and apparently there's somebody with a musical backpack in that neighborhood. If I remember correctly, over here, I can see him now. There are palm trees and sand. Okay, now you see, this is the problem, right? The edge of my render distance and where Distant Horizons begins. Now, what I've discovered is that I do have a beefier machine than I used to, but the Lost Cities mod and the Structures mod, I mean, it wreaks havoc. Even on a much more powerful machine, it wreaks havoc on my system. So it is much, unless I'm on foot, and even then, it's easier for me to travel than it is for the system to generate new terrain. So we have to take it easy when exploring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edge of my quote-unquote known world to know more world, right? I push the... Whoa, that's pretty cool looking. And that... Oh, I've been on this one though. This is the one I've been carving down. That's why the top's so flat. But yeah, it's just interesting to see the stuff that's out here. This is the bottom half of my lake. Yeah, lots of in-flight meals when flying a Gyrodyne. I do find the variety of structure through the Lost Cities mod very interesting. And you can see the highway system, how it's structured, mostly as a raised roadbed on pillars. But it looks like it extends quite a long way. So once we get a working vehicle and we can connect to it to the road system via some type of network of streets, we could probably cover a lot of distance on the ground. Interestingly enough, though, that is dangerous because a lot of those freeway overpasses will go through underpasses, right? They'll go into like tunnel type things, and it's been my experience that with the mods set up the way they are, those become hotbeds or gathering places for hostile mobs. So you know, getting through those in a land vehicle, all I can say is hope you're going fast enough, and ramming speed is the order of the day. This is a full New Moose settlement. New Moose, I think, are kind of cool, but they're hostile. So generally, Live and let live is the order of the day with them, but I'm not out to wipe them out. Okay, so this is a sandy area. I expect there should be some. I can see that there's flax already, but I got that. But I expect that there should be some cabbage somewhere in this neighborhood. Another point too. Oh, there's beets, and crabs, and seashells. Now, like I said, one of the we'll grab a sample coconut tree. The yeah, it's latency. The like I said, we're gonna need a lot of concrete. Concrete requires sand and gravel. Now, I've been talking about getting grinding wheels or pulverizers so I can make gravel and sand, and that long term that is still true. But now that we've confirmed the existence of this place, I think the sand problem's taken care of for foreseeable future. Is that a king snake or a coral snake? I don't know. So the in real life, it's a king snake and the coral snake look very, very similar, and that's a problem because one's obnoxious and poisonous and the other isn't. And when the naturalist guys instituted snakes, they added a king snake and a coral snake to, you know, bring that obnoxiousness into Minecraft. Bless their hearts. What can I say? This is a lot of beets. Well, for a source of beets, the beach can't be beat. Oh, and rice. That was a welcome surprise. Now, we have rice back at the hacienda, but that rice is from the thermal series, and this rice is from Farmer's Delight. So, the thermal series, they instituted rice, and rice grows like just any other plant. Farmer's Delight instituted rice, and it has a special growing mechanic. It's got to grow in water. Has to grow in only one tile of water. If you grow it too deep, it won't plant. Try to grow it in the land, won't plant. And one of the things I need to do is... Didn't I get this one? Oh, I got one over there. Oh, I guess there's a second one. A second patch of beets. Really can't be beat here. Yeah. You got lots of seeds, that's the important part. I noticed there's some salt deposits here. These salt deposits on the sandy beach, these are culinary salt, right? We can use these for cooking recipes. I don't think there's a lot of recipes that currently use it, but we got to do a lot of work to fix the tags. We could probably use, and we'll be fixing recipes as a part of that, so we'll make it happen. So now I'm just exploring here, looking for goodies, looking for cabbage specifically. Looks like the day is getting on, so we want to try to keep moving here. I do not want to be outside the walls when the night hits. More beets. All I really need is one beet seed and I'm good to go, but... Okay. Up, there they are. Cabbages and cantaloupes, but I'm after the cabbages. And there's a weird thing over there. I think I've seen one of those before. If I remember correctly, I think it's from Abyssal Decor. And bad things happened when I harvested it. But I think a monster spawned or something like that. Let's take a look. Make sure I'm right. Not about the spawning. I'm just going to leave this thing. It is Scrimshaw from Abyssal. Yes, we'll just leave that alone for now. A lot of nooks and crannies to explore here. All that verticality means there's probably good sources of iron in these formations. And that's good because I've pretty much blown most of my iron supply getting here. Also, just in case you're interested, I'm coming to you live from the morning, which is a little unusual. Normally I'm doing this late at night after everybody conks out. Today I'm doing this early in the morning before everyone wakes up. It's a Sunday and family's sick still or recovering, so they decided that we're not going to church. So if we're not going to church, everybody's sleeping in. Except me. I don't sleep in. Kind of like when we go on our family trips, right? I wake up at 6 or 7, shower, get dressed, walk around, explore, goof off for a couple hours before I got to start making breakfast. Folks start waking up. It's good me time. I saw something fall from that tree. These coconut trees will drop coconuts which break when they hit the ground. And the broken coconut is I think you can eat it directly. If not, you can use it in recipes for cooking. But if you cut the tree down, then the leaves will generate coconut seedlings, which look like just basically unbroken coconuts. And those you can plant and you can get coconut trees. I know what you're thinking, and that's just nuts. Oh boy. Cocoa nuts. Great, now I've got the old Cocoa Puffs commercial stuck in my head. Where are they? I forget the name of the character, the mascot for Cocoa Puffs, but Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. There we go. Okay. Now that I have a ridiculous amount of sand, and at some point even a ridiculous amount is not going to be enough, but at the moment I'm way ahead on the old sand supply meter, and now I've got to figure out a way to generate the same type of quantities for gravel. And I think the easy solution, the near-term solution would be to get that windmill made and attach it to a millstone from the Create mod, and that'll take care of my gravel needs for a long time. But we're still not quite. I don't have the land yet, but the space yet to build the windmill. So I think what I will do is make a hand crank. We're already dealing with using saturation power to fuel my flying experience. I might as well go all the way and use saturation power to fuel my grinding experience. In that case, I don't mind going through a crazy number of baked potatoes. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you clearly haven't used the hand crank in the create mod. In the create mod, you know, you got to generate power, and usually you do that through windmills or water wheels, or later in the game, steam engines. And there are other ways to generate power as well, which we'll get to, including a hand crank. Right? So you put a hand crank on that bad boy, and you can just, you know, turn the crank, and stuff happens. It's not useful for all cases, because you can only generate so much power through a hand crank, and you know, some of the more useful bits will require more power than you can generate through a hand crank. But well, I take that back. So when, you know, we did the live stream on the create mod a few weeks ago, and I don't remember the guy's name, but he was an audience member who was part of the live stream, and he said, "Hey, could you use a minecart contraption with a deployer to turn a hand crank?" And the short answer was yes, you can. But then again, you know, what happens is, as the Minecraft and minecart, I always get those confused. So as the minecart contraption with the deployer goes by, it turns the hand crank, but it does, like, you know, a half revolution, which does turn it, but, you know, then the deployer's gone, and then it's not turning anymore. And so we, as a group, just kept experimenting to the obvious conclusion, where we eventually created a minecart contraption that had a row of deployers. And so when the contraption went on the track, it would go back and forth with this row of deployers, so it was almost constantly turning the hand crank. That actually worked. And we were actually able to generate a fair number of stress units. And that was just amazing. So I mean, that might have a practical application here. I didn't think it was very practical at the time. I thought it was interesting. Interesting as all get out. Let's see if I can grab these. Nope. Oh, more rice. Yeah, so there goes the road out over the plains, the grasslands. That's a weird looking building. That is up. See, the difference between Distant Horizons and reality. I actually have the level of detail turned up fairly high, which is probably part of my problem as far as latency goes. But there is our little island, our little fortress of solitude. And you know, I'm running out of food. What, you know, here's the thing, right? I've got all these series going, and there's a couple different things. One, I think the different series appeal to different audiences, so that's important. But perhaps more importantly, from my side, the different series scratch different itches that I have, right? So if I had just one series and I concentrated on it full time, I'm not that hungry, it's just latency. There we go. If I just concentrated on one series all the time, I would be making fantastic progress, but then I'm not scratching those other itches, and I would start to lose interest in that one. So, you know, I went with the idea that we would have these multiple series that I kind of like juggle at the same time. Now, there's a new problem that comes with that, which is so then I love all my series, and every time I start playing one, like I am now, I start to get more and more excited about that series, right? It's kind of like I think I said it in another series before. If you were to, if I'm away from the computer and you ask me which series or world is my favorite, I have an answer. But when it comes right down to it, once I'm in a world, once I'm playing in a given world, my favorite series is the one I'm playing at the moment. And I think New Londinium and from the Rubble are two of my favorite world concepts by far. I love the idea of a steampunk world, but the nature of steampunk is go large or go home. Go home, not home. And so that is a big project, and we've been working at we've been preparing to prepare. So that's what that's about. This one, this is a totally new concept for me in Minecraft, and I've been kind of feeling my way through this one, and it's exciting, right? I mean, yes, I did get spanked pretty hard last episode. Trying to figure out which side I left off on that. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was this side. This is where I need to pick up where I left off. So what we're shooting for here is we want to continue filling in the base and find more minerals and stuff, especially iron, because we want to get to the next part, which is that mechanization, right? We want to be able to create cobblestone somehow, and we want to for building material, and we want to get to the windmill phase so that I can build the windmill, and that'll give us a source of power for manufacturing. And once I get that windmill up, I think that's the next major milestone. Whoa. At that point, we will definitely need to focus on building to our storage area. So, and the thing is it. Oh yeah, I forgot about these. Okay, I mean, if you remember last episode, I uncovered those, and I kept uncovering more and more. So it's good to see that there's an end. Well, it's not good to see. I'd be happy to have an unlimited supply of gold, but see some normalcy return to this underground space. I was seeing some. The thing you remember, this is episode 8. I think it's 8. Pretty sure it's 8. Which means I've been in this world for about 8 hours, and that is one of the drawbacks of playing multiple worlds like this with a break between them. It's sometimes a little easy to lose track of time, right? I mean, the 3 main series, Gryphon Horrors, From the Rubble, and New Londinium, my steampunk world, we've been playing these now since before the holidays, and that that's a long time as far as the calendar goes. But we're gonna build storage and stuff here. I need to dig all the way down. I need to know. First of all, I need to know what's down there. But second of all, that's where the storage and stuff will be. So, gonna do my usual run to Bedrock. Anyway, these series have, as far as the calendar goes, they're getting along in age, but in terms of actual playtime, not so much. Like I said, episodes run roughly an hour a piece, and this is episode 8. So, when this episode's done, we will have been in this world for about 8 hours. And my point in all that is, like, when I look around, I go, man, I really haven't done as much in this world as I would want, which is true. But then again, when you consider that I've been in this world for, right now, it's like 7 hours and 30 minutes or something. It's actually not bad at all, right? It's pretty decent progress. And it's the same in the other ones, too. I think it was episode 16 that we just wrapped up in New Londinium. And so when you look at the house and the exploration we've done, and of course, uncovering cultists and then defanging those cultists, that took me 16 hours. But, if I say 16 episodes or, 5 months, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But when you say 16 hours, like, well, that's not bad. Good for you. So, yep. Easy to lose track of time. I mean, Einstein says time's relative. I don't think that's what he meant in this case, but I'll go with it. We could use the iron. Thank you very much. Ooh. Okie dokie. While I can and definitely will use a millstone, we are still, we're at 1. Okay, because I expected to see some deep slate by now, but if we're at 1, I should see some deep slate about now. Or now? Really? I've never been this deep and not seen deep slate. I mean, I don't see it at all. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Deep slate, finally. Ooh. What is that? Okay. Somebody down here has emphysema. It's not me. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's spooky as all get out. Whoa, 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 whoa. I heard digging. This is freaking me out. I don't know what this is. I keep looking up because there's the emphysema again. Go drink a glass of water, dude. I do not know what that's about. If okay, right there, you kind of hear like a record pop. A little crackle, like from playing a physical record. If I was to hazard a guess, I'm thinking that is a music disc, which is obviously not playing music, it's playing sound effects, but I'm guessing that this is another case of a mob in my neighborhood with a sophisticated backpack and a lung disease. With a sophisticated backpack with the jukebox add-on, playing a disc, and this is the content of the disc. Now I'm hoping behind hope that's the case, because I don't know if that's not the case, then I'm dealing with some type of mob or zombie or something. Ooh, lead. It needs iron. I need an iron pickaxe or better to get lead. Seriously, you could bend lead in your fingers. Okay, whatever. Anyhow, I'm really hoping this isn't another new monster type, because I had bad experience with the last new monster type. Let's just say that. Oh gosh. Well, the good news is, if it comes to a matter of endurance, it doesn't sound like this guy can go the distance, but I'm starting to increasingly think that we're just listening to a disc. Minus 28. Okay, so and I'm almost certain it's a disc, because the record pops, and the fact that the whole chain of sounds pretty much repeats on a loop. So I feel a little bit better. I would like to confirm that as a disc, though. Now, in New Londinium and Greifenhorst, deep slate is a valuable commodity. I want deep slate, and because I need deep slate for construction purposes. In fact, there's no such thing as too much deep slate. In this world, we're building with concrete. Deep slate is just kind of a throwaway block, so, which is kind of weird. That's another thing. When you go, what is this? Pre-night. Okay. That's another thing, is when you go bouncing back and forth between these worlds, there's different priorities, there's different goals, but they're based off a lot of the same mods. So you see a lot of the same stuff. Not totally the same, but obviously some of the same. The core mod packs are the same, and so and of course there's vanilla. So there's a lot of blocks that in one game or one series that is a valuable block, and in another it's like, yeah, whatever. Who cares? But when you go bounce between the games, sometimes it's like, oh, deep slate. Oh yeah, never mind. Now an interesting mechanic for both Terraria, where I first ran into this, and Valheim, which surprised me that they had it, is that in those games you can transfer material between worlds, right? So now in Terraria that was useful because the world isn't infinite, right? I mean, you can go, there's different biomes, but it's a side scroller, right? It's not a three-dimensional world. So you go left to right far enough, you're in another biome, and then you can go left or right further into another biome. And the biomes are comprised of blocks, and you can harvest those blocks, and you can go so far down and so far up. But, the third dimension, like you have in Minecraft, that gives you access to a whole lot more blocks, but you're limited in Terraria. And so so what I did when I was playing the game is I would have the game that I played that I was having fun in and building, and then I had another game that was I was just mining blocks out of it. Ooh. Remember, I need gravel, and guess what I found? Lots of gravel. Now in Valheim, it's not two-dimensional. You actually have access to a lot of blocks. So I think there's a lot. I don't really see the need for that mechanic, but it's there still. So, you know, you can go into your multiplayer world and grab a bunch of supplies and return to your single player world, and it's still in your inventory, and you can, you know, so you can move stuff back and forth. It's interesting, be sure. I just don't know if it's necessary there. And so this has turned out to be nice little gravel deposit. Very nice. And we're right at the whoa. Hold on. Let's grab all this gravel and confirm. That I'm seeing what I'm seeing. And there it is. I am at the bottom of the world, folks. Okay. Well, mission accomplished. Yep, minus 58. So I'll need. In my Excel spreadsheet, I've already worked out where each floor will be. Huh. Just wondering if it would be worthwhile digging, but no, I need to go back and look at the plans and figure out where each floor is, and then that actually gives me information I need to start building and carving out. The reason that's important, especially in this world, is that from the Rubble, the planning went slightly different, right? So, like in Greifenhorst is probably the closest to what I typically do, and in that case, the building blocks for planning purposes that when I plan out a base or whatever, they are basically 11 by 11, right? And they overlap on the last block, so it's 11 by 11, but all the blocks share the outer row of blocks. That's just how it works. And the ceiling, the vertical height is 9 blocks. When I did New Londinium, I just scrapped that and I said I'm just going to work off chunks, right? So it's 16 by 16, and the vertical is 16 too, which just kind of makes things easy. When I set this one up, I went with the 16 by 16, so I'm doing the chunks. Chunks are important. In fact, I need to verify those here in a second. Make sure I set everything up correctly. But so it's 16 by 16 sideways, but you see, this is a more modern build. And, you know, if you ever go into like a old buildings, like from the like if you go into any of the old palaces from the 16th, 17th, or 18th centuries, or if you go into any building from like the 19th century, they have very high ceilings, and that's mostly to keep things cooler in the summer and because they didn't have air conditioning. But My point on that is that when we got to the 20th century, that went bye-bye shortly thereafter, right? We have air conditioning stuff, and so, look around your own building, right? Chances are pretty good that if you're pretty tall, you could touch the roof, or the ceiling, not the roof. So, from the rubble comes from that era, that paradigm. So I don't need 9 blocks of vertical space per chunk. And so I'm thinking, I think it's like 3 or 4 blocks per level, which kind of completely throws off my game, right? It's not what I've traditionally done, which means I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. I gotta fall back to my plans. I need a lot of dirt. I don't think I'm going to do that this time because we're running out of time here for this episode. You can see, well, these are radishes, but you can see right there it's the rice from the thermal series, and it's just like a regular plant, and it gives me rice, seeds, and rice. Now, kids, don't take what you learn from Minecraft or Minecraft mods and try to apply that to your biology or chemistry classes. You're gonna fail. Rice and rice seeds, they're the same thing. You can plant the rice seeds or you can eat the rice seeds. That's how that works. Same thing with corn. Same thing with wheat, right? In Minecraft, some reason, let me just point that out. What we give you is we say, I'm harvesting this wheat. I have seeds and I have wheat. No, only in Minecraft is that true. Normally, when you harvest real wheat, you have those grassy stalks, and the seeds are in there, and it's those seeds that are called wheat grain. And we go and put those through a thresher, which basically just beats the snot out of the grassy parts so the seeds fall out. My first pumpkin. And then we take the seeds, throw away the wheat stuff, or we make it into straw or fodder or whatever. But then take those seeds, and that's the wheat, and that we grind that into flour and we make bread and stuff. That's how that works. Doesn't work that way in Minecraft, I know, but it just highlights a few different things. One, you can't rely on computer games as a basis of actual knowledge in most cases. And 2, well, just to kind of piggyback off of that, what the game systems that you have, if you think, well, like Minecraft's a perfect example. If you think you know about, smelting metals and forging items out of metal, obviously Minecraft doesn't follow any of that. The fact that you have a smelting mechanic and then you produce metal that you can use to craft something, that's as detailed as it goes, and that's as realistic as it goes. But vintage story, it's a bit different, right? Because the smelting mechanic is, you have a crucible and you got to put your ore into the crucible and heat it up to the point where the ore melts in the crucible, and then you can pour it in the molds, and then from there you can work it further on an anvil to knock out the impurities and blah 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 blah. And even then, as complex and painful as that sounds, it's certainly amongst the most realistic and complete forging mechanics, but it is still not true to life. There's, certain metals actually you would want to quench, basically, like you see in the movie. Sometimes the blacksmith takes the red hot iron and puts it in water, and all that steam everywhere and stuff, which is incredibly satisfying, right? I mean, it's cool, but So what we're doing here is we are going to make some andesite alloy. I'm a little surprised because normally I'm reeling in the zinc, and that's what I use zinc for, right? I don't use my precious iron to make andesite alloy. Oh boy. Doing this in the morning, I kind of screw up my dialogue anyway, but in the morning, the brain is just not fully connected. Anyway, andesite alloy. And I need andesite alloy for almost anything you want to make and create. And we will make our hand crank and our millstone. And might have to make something else to get those two to play together, but we'll get to that bridge when we get to it. We're almost there, quite frankly. I don't know if I want to make 4 casings, but we'll make one for now. Save the rest just in case. Hand crank's pretty easy, but it uses a whole piece of andesite alloy. Painful. Okay, and now I think I need a gear. Millstone, let's see. Yep, I need a gear and a piece of stone. Looks like any piece of natural stone will work, pretty much. Oh, okay, gears a shaft. I'm gonna need shafts, which are easy. Shaft and planks. That gives me my cog. It's a gear in my head, but now I need a stone. Give me a piece of something. Didn't I put some tuff in here? Well, I'll talk andesite, I guess. I used the tuff outside. That's where it was. Okay, I got a millstone. Hand crank. Let's see if I can put these two together. I'm gonna need I think to make a wooden hopper so that I can crank material into a chest. So here's my wooden hopper. I don't think there's anything in this chest. I don't want to build it high because it might make the crank a little inconvenient to work. Okay. This goes on top. How does this work again? Nope. That's where stuff goes in. I need to turn that gear on the side. So I'm gonna need, I think, another gear. A cog. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do. So I need one of these. No. I need I need a shaft. And that makes a cog. Put the cog on the side to connect to that gear. There we go. Put the hand crank on that. And that works. Okay, now I have a cog floating in midair, so I got to basically, I'm going to put a casing underneath that. Oh yeah, I forgot. You got to put the casing down. Apply the alloy. Okay. I want to put the casing down underneath this so it doesn't look... I hate floating cogs. There we go. Okay, I can now make gravel. We have a seemingly infinite supply of sand. For all practical purposes, it's infinite enough. How are we doing outside? It's still daylight. Okay, so let's see. I found a source of sand. I got my cabbage, which I'll need to plant soon, but I need to fill in my island, which I still need to do. Let's check out my chunks. And yeah, okay, so this is 0, 0. And I got that part correct. So now I just need to make sure that all the other measurements I made based on that measurement are correct, and it looks like they are. And there's my fish catcher thingy-mabobber. And we're in level 63, so okay, we are set. We are set. So I was kind of hoping to get a lot of stuff done this episode, and of course I hope that every episode, and some episodes I do a better job of that than others, and but this one I actually did, right? I actually made some pretty fair progress, so I'm kind of happy about that. I can mark some items off of my checklist. So before we build, I'm going to need a few things. The mason table is one of them. I'm going to need a stone cutter and an architect table as well. The mason table, though, is going to require some... First of all, let's make sure that I need a mason table for that, and I do. Because, you know, making with light gray concrete by itself is not a particularly exciting block, and we want, you know, some variety. We want it to look like a proper modern structure, so we want to have some different versions of light gray concrete, and that's what the mason table from the chip mod will give me. I can come up with all sorts of technical looking blocks that are just concrete blocks, so we'll go for that. Stone cutter, of course, will help me cut stone and make a number of different blocks from there, and then the architect table will take it a step further. Though you've seen me use the architect table a lot in New Londinium, because that's how I'm generating those kind of medieval open timber blocks. We won't be doing that here. Here we will be using the architect table a lot for generating slabs, stairs, and panels. Now, it'll allow me to make slabs and stairs of blocks that I normally can't make slabs and stairs with. And the panels are, you know, normally if you want something like that in vanilla Minecraft or most modern Minecraft, you make a trapdoor. But with the architect table, I can actually make it of a lot of blocks. And if I can't make a panel with that block today, then I can goof around with the tags and make it later. So, okay, so now we've got some sand, we've got some gravel, we can make concrete. But to make concrete, I'll get to that in a minute. I want to also get some stone so I have some tools, because the way you make concrete, you make the concrete powder, but then I don't have, you know, in Create you could use the washing mechanic to turn concrete powder into concrete blocks without actually having to remine those blocks, but I don't have that, so I need to grab some cobblestone so that I can make another pickaxe to mine the light gray concrete and red concrete that I'm going to make. And right now we are cooking some of those cobblestone blocks so that I have the stone to make a stone cutter. And I'm going to use this charcoal to make black dye, the black dye with the white dye to make gray dye, the gray dye I need to make more white dye. So this is why I'm saying I needed that material to make bone meal. So now I got 28 gray dye and a bunch of, 28 light gray dye and a bunch of gray dye. This will get me going. And now we make the red concrete powder. That should make red concrete powder. Why does that not make red concrete powder? Is this latency? Whoa, hold on. What is that? That's... Oh. So Clayworks has... There's been a recent update and they have hijacked the concrete powder recipe. What did they do? What'd you do, Willis? What'd you do, Ray? Let's see. Okay, that's... Oh. So... Okay, the thermal series, you can use slag instead of gravel, which is good. But the Clayworks, you got to make the concrete powder first and then add color, which... I mean... Okay, here's the question. Can I... Yeah, that's how you make light gray. Can I just make concrete with the gray powder? With the... Nope. So all they did was complicate things. There's an extra step now. But I can create something I didn't have before, but I can't do anything extra with it. So, whatever. Okay, whatever. Now I have a bunch of leftover light gray dye. So I can put this stuff away. And now there's my stone cutter. Hold on. Architect's table takes what? Oh, okay. Well, I need another iron, which I have, and I need to cook some more stone because I need to make slabs. Yeah, I didn't make any extras. I need 3 slabs. So I'll make 2 stone blocks and then I'll put them in the stone cutter and I'll get 4 slabs and then I'll have a leftover slab. I think I can use the extra slab in something. I don't remember. Something, I seem to remember something uses a single slab, so we'll see. All the weird stuff I can make. Okay, I've got all the bits I need, except for actual concrete blocks. I've got a bunch of concrete powder. So let's cure our concrete. Now this is really weird to me. I mean, you know, they do make things like concrete bricks and stuff, right? So they pour the concrete in molds, let it set, and then boom, you've got bricks that you can use. But most concrete's poured wherever they're going to use it, right? That's the whole point. One of the cool things about concrete, right? You build the mold, you pour it in, you let it sit, boom, it's already in place and it's hard and it, you know, does what concrete does. This has always been a weird mechanic that I gotta put the concrete in water or pour water on it, and then I mine the concrete blocks and place them. But then the placed bricks don't look like concrete blocks, they look like I poured it. So I guess if you wanted to be really realistic, you would put the blocks where you want them, hit them with the water, then put down new blocks where you want them, hit them with the water, and keep building layers. And that's in fact what they do in real life, right? That's like when they see them pouring a foundation or a big concrete structure like a parking garage. The reason I'm doing this here and not one level up, if I do it one level up, then it eats up the source block, and some of these would come back because of the layout, but especially the ones by land might not come back. And yeah, I am going to get rid of those at some point in the future, but right now this is the most convenient source of concrete curing that I have, so oh, I hear a ground breathing. And I'm surprised. So, the mod I use to make hostile mobs more obnoxious, it basically makes them I think it's called the zombie awareness mod, and the hostile mobs can hear the actions you take. And mining these blocks definitely make noise, and it should be getting his attention. I mean, I could hear, he's close enough I could hear him breathe, but he apparently is not hearing me. And the reason I know that is you may have noticed by now, if you've been watching this series, that when a hostile mob notices me, even creepers, which kind of surprised me, they make a noise, right? It's kind of like the, you know, something like that. And it's like, oh, I've been spotted. In fact, that's how I knew the pillager was out there, because he made that noise, and I looked around and I saw a pillager. So when they're aware of you, like when they hear you make noise, they make that noise. He's not making that noise. So I could hear him, and yet I'm pounding the snot out of these blocks and making all sorts of noise myself, and he's not doing anything with it, so okay. Okie dokie. I need one more block, stone block of any flavor. Oh, let's make these. If those symbols on the block remind you of anything, if they compel you to do something, by all means, follow your instinct, your compulsion. And then let's get this for my pickaxe. Let's finish this job. It was a day of milestones. That's all I gotta say. I'm feeling pretty good about that. You know, when you go through, when you complete something and you get that sense of accomplishment, is a huge motivator. Pressing forward. I would like, at the moment, like I said, right now, this is my favorite series, and I would like nothing more than just keep playing. But that would kind of screw everything up as far as scheduling and content and blah blah blah. So I'll just finish plopping these down and picking them back up again, and I think that would be it for today. It has been a very good run. Very good run. I need to capture the map on this one too. Put it online. I need to, I've got the data captured for Greifenhorst. I need to build an interactive map for that one like I did with New Londinium. So much to do, but it's fun. I mean, this is part of my compulsive nature. So normally at this point in the episode, I would jump to the corner of my base and give you a panoramic view of the work so far. But today, I got my handy dandy copter thingy, so I'm going to park the Gyrodyne right up here, and I'm going to do the same thing, but from on high. And I think I need to, I think I use, backspace in New Londinium to exit the craft. I need to set it to 0 keybat. I like that one. But there we go. There is La Hacienda. So, I had fun. I got a lot done. I'm pretty happy. I'm not quite on cloud 9. I'm on like cloud 7 maybe, but that's pretty good, quite frankly. In the meanwhile, you see that we have quite a bit left to do around us. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got something out of it. I hope it will bring you back to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. But until there is a next one, I hope this finds you and yours in good health, good spirits, and perhaps a touch of good fortune. Cheers.